Hi everyone, how are you all? Yes, I was telling about this cutie story, isn't it? Are you all going to listen it? You're going to enjoy it? Shall we go with it? Yes. Now I would like to tell that story. Just listen, and we are going to discuss the moral of the story. So a gentleman was walking through an elephant camp, and he spotted that the elephant weren't being kept in cage or held by use of a chains. All that was holding them back from escaping the camp was a small piece of rope tied to one of their legs. As the man gazed upon the elephants, he was completely confused as to why the elephant did just use their strength to break that rope and escape from the camp. They could easily have done, isn't it? But instead, they did not try at all. Curious and wanting to know the answer, he asked a trainer nearby why the elephant was just standing there and never ever tried to escape. The trainer replied, "We use the same size of rope to tie them when they were very small. At that age, it was enough to hold them. As they grow up, they were conditioned to believe that they cannot break away. They believe the rope can still hold them, so they never try to break free. The only reason that the elephant weren't breaking free and escaping from the camp was that over time they adopted the belief that it is not possible." What is the moral of the story? No matter how much the world tries to hold you back, always continue with the belief that what you want to achieve is possible. Believing you can become successful, and most importantly, the step is actually achieving. So try to believe yourself. So how is this குட்டி story? Yes, belief. உன்னோட எண்ணம் மிக சிறந்தது. அதுதான் எல்லா வெற்றிக்கும் முதல் படி. So let us try to believe ourselves that we are going to break this crisis and we are going to come out. We are going to successfully achieve many things in this world. Yes? You like the story? Okay. Now coming back to the coastal plain, and this is the fourth. Already we have studied three physiographic divisions, and this is the fourth physiographic division, coastal plains. You know what is coastal plains? Karayora Pagudigal. Okay. So which is very adjacent to the sea is called as the coastal plains. And now you see in this map also to try to understand, and then it will be easy for you. You can see this one. Already initially we were just discussing about the coastal line. I'm just showing my cursor. You can see that the coastal line here, it starts from the eastern side, which starts from West Bengal, and you have a stretch of east coastal region. You can see this one, east coastal region, and you have a west coastal plains also. And the plain which is very nearer to these coasts are respectively called with that particular name. So the plains which are very close to the east, we call it as the eastern coastal plains. And the plains which are very near to the western coast is called as a western coastal plain. Is it clear? So we will start with the western coastal plain. You can see the cursor. I'm just circling it out. You can see the Konkan coast here. It is a coast of Maharashtra. You can see here Konkan coast in the north, and in the south you have a Malabar coast. You can easily see that Kerala and Karnataka shares this Malabar coast. And in between a small coast is there, and this coast, it is not mentioned in the map, but I am telling you it is Kanara coast. We have three coasts here in the west coastal plain. The north, the first part is called as a Konkan coast, and second one is called the Kanara coast, and finally the southern part of the coast is called as Malabar coast. So this is very clear for you. Okay, now we will go to the next East Coastal Plain. We have here East Coastal Plain, and now you can see here Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. We have East Coastal Plain, and this coastal plain is called as a Coromandel Coast. This name is derived from Cholamandalam. Cholamandalam. Mandalam means a big area of landmass. Cholamandalam was initially called, and later it was called as a Coromandel Coast. Cholamandalam, the place which was ruled by Cholas. You can see this region is called as a Coromandel Coast. I mean, this eastern coast, southernmost part is called as a Coromandel Coast, and northmost part of the East Coastal Plain is called as a Northern Circus. So this is the demarcation of the coastal regions of East Coastal Plain. We have north side, we have Northern Circus, and in the southern side we have Coromandel Coast. We have one more distinguish between. I think now you can easily distinguish between the Eastern Coastal Plain and Western Coastal Plain. You can see that, and you can easily distinguish between. And next, last physiographic division we would like to see now, the islands of India. And you know already we have given an introduction. Lakshadweep. I am moving the cursor. You can see there Lakshadweep. Laksh அப்படின்னா லட்சம் லட்சக்கணக்கான தீவுகள் இருந்ததாம். So many thousands of islands were there. And now it is been reduced, and some of the island were being submerged in water, and now very few island is there, and you can see it. And this is part, it is located in Arabian Sea, Lakshadweep. You can see here, yes. And you can see Minicoy, and yes, Kavarati is the capital of Lakshadweep. And now moving to the second island, which is located in the east part of India, that is in the Bay of Bengal. We have, you can see a stretch of small island. You can see here, I am just moving the cursor, Andaman and Nicobar Island. You have a small, or you have a line separating this Andaman and Nicobar Island. Andaman Nicobar in the north it is located, and the Nicobar Island is located towards the south. Okay, so you have so many small islands you can able to see here. Andaman and Port Blair is the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island, and the extreme southernmost point of India. This is the point, that is extreme southern tip of Nicobar Island, and that point exactly is called as a Indira Point. Already I think we have discussed. Yes, these are the two islands. So now we have covered in this session the coastal regions we have covered, and two islands we have covered. Coming back to coastal plain, we have a Peninsula Plateau in India is flanked to both the sides by Western Coastal Plain and Eastern Coastal Plain. They were formed by the deposition of action of rivers and erosion deposition action of sea waves. So we have two coastal plain. Okay, Western Coastal Plain, just now we saw, it starts or it extends from Rann of Kutch, okay, in the north, and till Kanyakumari we have a Western Coastal Plain. And it varies, the width varies to 10 to 80 kilometer, and you can see a sandy beaches, coastal sand dunes, mud flats, lagoons, estuaries, laterite platforms, and terrestrial hills we can see. A northern part, just now I said Konkan Plain, Konkan Coast or Konkan Plain. The middle part is called Kanara, and the southern part is called as a Malabar. Already we have discussed this, right? Yes. And you can see this numerous lagoons and backwaters called Kyles and Terries are present in this West Coastal Plain. And Vembanad is one of the famous biggest lagoon found in Kerala. Okay, Eastern Coastal Plain It lies between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal and stretches along the states of first West Bengal, then Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and you know that very well, Tamil Nadu. This plain is formed by the alluvial fillings of littoral zone by the east flowing rivers in India. The coastal plain consists mainly of the recent alluvial deposits, and you can see this one here. In this coastal plain, many rivers flow, Mahanadi, Krishna. As coastal plain flowing in this region, Mahanadi and Krishna river is called as a northern circus. And southern part lies between Krishna and Kaveri rivers and is called Coromandel coast.
Oh.
So these are the two divisions that are located in the eastern coastal plains. Marina Beach, you would have been Marina Beach many times. Yes, we have seen and that is the second longest beach in the world. And among the backwaters, water lakes on the coast, backwaters. Backwaters, what is backwaters? The sea intrudes into the inland and forming a lake. And that is what you call it as a backwater lake. Okay, among them, Chilka Lake, which is located in Odisha, is the largest lake. And you have Kolleri Lake between Godavari and Krishna, and Puliket Lake, we have already studied in 9th standard, between Andhra and Tamil Nadu. Okay. Lies in the border of Andhra Pradesh of Tamil Nadu as well as known as a lake in the east coastal plain. And finally, we are coming to the islands. We have two major island groups, namely Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep. The former, the Andaman Nicobar has 572 islands and it is located in Bay of Bengal. Later one has 22 islands. The Lakshadweep has 27 islands. Wrongly, I think I have said 27 islands, and Andaman Nicobar Island comprises 572 islands. And this one, Lakshadweep Island, is located in Arabian Sea. The island of Andaman Nicobar are largely tectonic and volcanic origin. The India's only active volcano is found on Barren Island in Andaman Nicobar group of. You can see a lot of corals in Arabian Sea. You can see this one, a beautiful Andaman Nicobar Island. These islands are located on an elevated portion of the submarine mountains. Since these islands lie close to the equator, the climate remains hot and wet throughout the year and has dense forests. The areas of the island is about 8,249 square kilometers. The entire group of island is divided into Andaman in the north and Nicobar in the south. We have seen already. And Port Blair is the capital of Andaman Nicobar Island. And 10-degree channel separates Andaman Nicobar group, and the southernmost tip of Indra Point is a part of a Nicobar Island. Just now I showed you where Indra Point lies. And when we talk of Lakshadweep, I have said that this name is given because of so many thousands of islands was there initially, and now it was very less only, and it covers 32 square kilometers. Kavarati is the capital and separates Maldives Island by 8-degree channel. Yes, here only 8-degree channels separates this Lakshadweep Island, Maldives Island, and many islands are uninhabited. Abdina yanadu uninhabited abdina manushanga and island la vaazhala. Ada uninhabited. Which islands of this group has a bird sanctuary? You must remember this one. That's a very important. Earlier, it had 3 divisions, namely Lakadiv, Minicoy, and Amindivi. It was named as Lakshadweep in 1973 only. It was named as a Lakshadweep. So these are the important points that is given about Lakshadweep Island. Yes, offshore island. Besides the 2 groups of island, India has a new number of islands along the western coast and eastern coast and delta region of Ganga and Gulf of Mannar. Many of these islands are uninhabited and are administered by the adjacent states. Yes. Okay. So till this portion, I think we have covered coastal plains and island. So with this, we are completing about the 5 physiographic division of India, and we have a very interesting topic yet to cover and finish this lesson, and that topic is drainage system of India. We are going to explore that drainage system of India in the next class. Okay, before going to that drainage system of India, I would like to give small input with the terms that you have to understand before studying this topic. I would like to show that terms that is already given in the glossary. We will understand that, and then next class I will continue with the drainage system. And today we will just understand what is this term refers to. Before understanding the drainage, we need to understand these terms that I am showing here. It is given in the glossary. When these terms are very clear, then you can easily understand the drainage system of India. So backwater, the part of the river which are stagnant and do not reach the sea as they are pushed by the current, is called as a backwater. Distributary and tributary. Students, you must have a clear understanding about these two terms. Once again, I will tell you distributary and tributary. So these two terms come explain about the rivers. Okay, distributary. Distributary. Distribute. Suppose you have chocolates. You want to give to your friends. உங்க ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு நீங்க கொடுக்க விரும்புறீங்க. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? You will distribute the chocolates, isn't it? இப்போ உங்ககிட்ட இருக்க விஷயத்த நீ வந்து டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ற. அது மாதிரி ரிவர், டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட்டரி ரிவர் அப்படின்னா ரிவர், okay, it is going to separate into many outlets from the main river. Main riverல இருந்து குட்டி குட்டியா நதிகள் அதுல இருந்து செப்பரேட் ஆச்சுன்னா அது பேரு distributary. Is it clear? You can see in that content. See this one, the branch or outlet which leaves a main river and does not rejoin it, carrying this water to the sea. Finally, it is going to deposit in the sea only. Before that, joining the sea, the main river is distributed, and this only will form the delta region. And one more, you have tributary. Tribute abdina contribution. Okay, contribute. உன்னால முடிஞ்சது நீ செய்யறது. You contribute to one particular thing. அப்படிதான் contribute. அந்த வார்த்தை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ. அந்த contributeல இருக்க அந்த வார்த்தை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ. Tribute. Tributary. அப்படின்னா என்னது? A river or stream which contributes its water to the main river. A small river is coming, a main river is running, and this small river is going to come and join the main river. And this small river, it contributes its water to the main river. So this river is called as, the small river joining the main river is called as a tributary. When we are discussing in the next class, I think you will be very clear. I will show the video also. What is the difference between distributaries and tributaries? And what are the names of these distributaries and tributaries? We will see in the next class. Am I clear for you? Yes. And you have Doab. We have seen today's class only, land between two converging rivers. Okay, is called as a doab. Estuaries, delta we have discussed. Estuaries, so mouth of the river where it directly enters into the sea without forming a delta, that region is called as a estuaries. We know that through a single channel without a distribution. Perennial rivers, already we have seen it. So Vatta Nadi, perennial rivers. Okay, so all the month the river has a flow of water throughout the entire year. They have a permanent source of water, and it is called as a perennial river. Pass is a gap that is between the two mountain regions which provides a route or a passageway. ரொம்ப எக்ஸாம்பிள், அழகான ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் இருக்கு நம்ம ஊர்ல. இங்க Palakkad Pass. So we know the Western Ghats stretch. இதுல நடுவுல ஒரு பாஸ் இருக்கு. So இந்த பாஸ் வழியா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணலாம்? We can, from Tamil Nadu, you can through Palakkad Pass, you can go to the Kerala states. Okay. Peninsula. Peninsula அப்படின்ற வேர்டுக்கு அர்த்தம் என்ன? Peninsula அப்படின்னா land area covered 3 sides with water. I mean the water, the ocean. Okay. Subcontinent. You know already this, I think this subcontinent, why India is called a subcontinent already we have covered in the beginning class. Standard time also, you know, introductory just now we have discussed. These are the important glossaries and exercise is there. I would like to finish the class now. I think this is enough for today's class. A short and very important last topic is left out, that is the drainage system of India. I'll catch you in the next class, and next class hopefully successfully we will finish the lesson. With this, I'm signing off. Bye bye everyone. And I would like to share, I hope that this session with a Kutti story and small important concepts that we have learned is there in your mind. So believe that you're going to do great things and you're going to achieve in your life. Yes. I also take this opportunity to thank your parents for supporting you all these days. Okay, convey my regards to every members of the family. I am completing this session. Till then, bye bye. I'm signing off. Bye.